Hello and welcome. I am Michael Quintana, and this will be a 90-minute yin yoga class focusing on our legs. First, I invite you to find a comfortable seat in whatever space that you are in. This seat can really look like anything as long as it feels comfortable. So you might be sitting directly on the floor. Maybe you're sitting on a blanket or a bolster. Maybe your legs are crossed, maybe they're extended. But once you find your seat, I invite you to snuggle in. So root down into your sit bones. Stack your heart over your hips, and then stack your palate, the roof of your mouth, over your heart. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And just notice that you are breathing. Maybe you place one hand on your belly and leave one hand on your heart. And you might notice that as you are breathing, your belly and your chest are moving. Or maybe it's just your chest that is moving. If you are just feeling movement in your chest, that is okay. That is an adequate form of breathing. But I invite you to explore engaging with your diaphragm, inviting the belly to expand as you inhale and to contract as you exhale. The diaphragm is a horizontal band of muscle tissue between our lungs and our belly. And when the diaphragm engages, it draws down into the belly, creating a vacuum in the lungs that allows them to fill with air. When we release the diaphragm, it comes back up towards the lungs and begins to push that stale air out. Diaphragmatic breathing is a powerful tool for us to gain connection to our body, connection to this vessel, this vehicle that moves us through space. In our yin yoga practice, we will be moving slowly and we will be focusing on our breath as a way to sense what is happening within our body. Our ability to sense what is happening internally is called interoception. And what that means is that we are looking for sensations that are coming from within. These might be sensations of stretch or of compression. There might be circumstances where these sensations do not feel good, where these sensations might hurt. No pain means no pain. So there is no need for us to do any form that causes us pain. So if the sensations that you are perceiving within your body do not feel good, I invite you to move away from those sensations. We want to feel a sense of productive discomfort, a place where we are feeling sensations but they're not painful. We want to be able to sit with these sensations for extended periods of time, somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes. So if right away it hurts, there's no way we're going to be there for 5 minutes. It's okay to back off. As you are ready, we're going to begin with our first posture of this session, butterfly pose. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together and we are going to allow our knees to fall open to the sides. We want to be aware of what's happening in our pelvis. So from a side view, You might notice that as you bring your legs in front of you, your back begins to round. And this posture does allow for the head to get closer to the ground. However, we might be a little concerned about what's happening in our spine here with this deep flexion in the lumbar. So you might explore elevating your hips, perhaps on a blanket like I am, perhaps on a bolster or blocks. And that might allow for the top of your pelvis to roll forward into a anterior pelvic tilt. And as the top of the pelvis moves forward, you might be feeling the sit bones, the bottom of the pelvis, shifting backwards. So the pelvis is rolling forward. And then you can allow your spine to extend from the hips. Maybe you are inviting some support for the upper body, so maybe you're using props and building a little structure that will ultimately support your head or your chest. Maybe you're allowing your head and chest just to hang towards the floor. We're looking for our edge, where we are starting to experience sensations of stretch, sensations perhaps of lengthening, maybe even a little compression in the front of our hips. And then when we find those sensations, we'll hold. And while we're holding, we're continuing to breathe. Noticing that as we breathe, our body continues to shift. And over time, we might find that our edge creeps along. So after we spend a few breaths at one of our edges, we might find that that edge has shifted a little further along. Our body has adapted to the pressures that we are putting on it. And so then you might continue to reach for that edge, allowing yourself to sink a little bit deeper into the expression of this posture. If you are feeling sensations in your body, you are doing it, and there's no need to go any further. Just sit with these sensations and breathe. Slowly, we'll sit up, and we're going to begin to shift to our next posture, which will be a straddle, sometimes known as dragonfly in the yin community. So we're going to open up our legs, does not have to be the widest straddle you've ever done in your life. Again, we are inviting the top of our pelvis to roll forward towards that anterior pelvic tilt. And maybe you're feeling sensation with the legs bent, feet flat towards the floor. Maybe you're supporting your head in your hands. Maybe head and chest are coming closer to the floor. Maybe your body allows you to extend your legs. And maybe you're sending the backs of the knees towards the floor. Again, inviting the top of your pelvis to roll forward. And you might be using props to build a structure that, once again, will support your body. We'll be here for about the next 10 minutes. So really lean into that sense of support and comfort. We're gonna be here for a while. So if there's already a sense of discomfort, that seed of discomfort will only grow over time. One of the things that distinguishes yin yoga from other practices like restorative yoga is that we want to feel sensation in yin yoga. So if you are no longer feeling the sensations of stretch that you did at the beginning of this posture, that is the result of creep in your tissues. That is your body adapting to stress. So you might shift and reach a little bit further to find your new edge, and then allow your body to settle in this new place. we're a little more than halfway through this posture. And though there is a set amount of time dedicated to all of these postures, there is no need for all of us to spend all of the time. So if you at any point wish to back away or back out of any of these postures, you absolutely may. We have about 1 minute left here in our straddle pose. You might take some time to reconnect with your diaphragmatic breathing, your belly breath. And then as you're ready, we're going to press our hands into the earth and we're going to sit up. We're going to take one more seated forward folding posture. This time we're going to bring our legs together. And just like all of our seated forward folds, we are inviting the top of our pelvis to roll forward. You might allow for a bend in your knees. And maybe that bend in your knees allows you to feel more sensation, more length through your back. Maybe you're supporting your head in your hands. Maybe your head's just hanging. Maybe you're supporting your head with blocks. Some might choose to press the backs of their knees towards the floor. making a shape that resembles more like Dandasana from our yang practices. We consciously rename poses in the yin tradition in order to disassociate from the ideas that we have about some postures, especially some yang ideas. So this pose is called caterpillar, not Dandasana. And in caterpillar, we are inviting release through the upper body. So there's no need to think about lengthening your spine. You might investigate how it feels to just let your head be heavy. We're exploring sensations in our body. There are some sensations that we may wish to avoid. These are sensations that might be associated with nerve impingement. And so those sensations could be like tingling or numbness. They could be electrical or shooting pains, pains that travel from one part of the body to another. If you are feeling those pains, we want to move away from that feeling. And so we might call upon the support of blocks or other props to hold our body in positions that are pain-free. Slowly, you can press your hands into the earth to sit up. And we're going to move into a swan pose. Swan looks a lot like pigeon. And for me, I know that my body responds better with my hips elevated, so I'm bringing my hips up onto my bolster. I'm going to start with my right leg in front of me, and my right knee is bent, and my right shin is kind of perpendicular to my spine. I'm going to make an effort to turn my left knee and toes down towards the earth. I'm going to try to press the top of my left foot into the floor, and then maybe my left pinky toenail is reaching towards the floor here. I'm going to take a few moments for some yang energy here, some muscle energy. So we're going to be pressing our legs into the floor, and we might invite our right hip, our front hip, to shift back towards our left foot. We might be pressing our hands into the floor. Maybe hands are connected to blocks. Some might be connecting their hands to their right leg. If your body is looking for more sensation, you might explore bending your left knee, and maybe you're reaching back to connect with yourself, drawing your left foot towards your hips. If that action isn't available to you today, no worries, it is not necessary. As you're ready, we're going to find our way towards a sleeping swan. So the legs remain as they are, but we start to walk our hands forward. And we're inviting our body to connect to something solid. So that connection might be chest and forehead to blocks. Your chest and forehead might come down all the way to the earth, or maybe to stacked hands or fists. We're just allowing our body to experience sensations, to experience some light stress of stretching. In yang forms of yoga, like vinyasa or power yoga, the focus is on muscles and muscle energy. In yin yoga, the focus is more on the ligaments and tendons and the tissue surrounding our joints. These tissues respond to different types of stresses than muscle tissue. We may carry a habit from our yang practice of trying to overwork the tissue to force adaptation. This is the concept of hypertrophy, the process of building muscle. You tear muscle to build it bigger. Ligaments and tendons do not respond in the same way to that type of energy. That is a good way to cause injury to them. So resist a temptation you may have of trying to push deep into the experience of sensation. Allow your body instead to just soften into those experiences, and perhaps they grow deeper, or perhaps they remain subtle. As you're ready, we're going to ground our hands beneath our shoulders, and we're going to lift our chest. We're going to shift a lot of our weight towards the right hip so that there's space for us to swing our left leg around in front of us. This can be challenging for many, including myself. We're going to take the left foot and try to bring it towards the top of the right knee for shoelace. Now, maybe like me, there's lots of space between your knees and feet. And if there is, I invite you to fill those spaces in with your blocks. And we are looking for sensations in the hips. And so if you're feeling this already, awesome, you're doing it. If this is just too much sensation, you might just extend the left leg in front of you and bring your right foot on top of your left knee, creating a figure 4. Maybe you are feeling enough sensation and you can just place your hands behind you and invite your chest to lift towards the ceiling and the top of your hips to roll forward. And again, that could be enough. Maybe you are inviting your spine to roll forward. Maybe elbows are resting on your legs. Some humans might bring their head all the way to the floor in front of them. I am not one of those humans. But if you are, don't let my limitations stop you. As you're ready, we're going to gently sit up. And we're going to uncross our legs and place our feet flat on the floor in front of us. Hands come to the floor behind us. And we're going to just let our knees windshield wiper side to side as a counter pose. This is our first counter pose of our practice. It's a little unusual that we'd go this far without, but we've been in a long series of forward folds. And at this point, we're going to begin to find a little bit of a shift in the energy of our practice. And so we're just using a counter pose, a gentle repetitive movement to allow some of the tissues of our body to reset. We're going to take our swan with our left leg forward now. Again, I feel supported with my hips on a bolster. You might experience the same. You might be bringing your seat directly to the floor. The left leg is in front of us, and we're bringing the right leg behind us. And we're going to work to turn our right knee and toes towards the floor. This is where I appreciate that support under my left hip. The left shin is generally perpendicular to our spine. We're creating some yang energy in the legs. We're pressing the legs into the floor and reaching our left hip towards our right foot. We might be connecting our hands to the earth or to blocks, and by pressing through our hands, inviting a lift through our shoulders and our chest. Due to the resemblance of the yang posture of pigeon pose, you might be engaging in some intensity for this experience. I invite you to explore some softness for this shape. Can you invite the body to release into this posture rather than using your muscles to guide it into this posture? And we are always listening to the body. And if the body is saying it's too much, we can back off. We should, in fact, back off. As you're ready, we're moving towards a sleeping swan. So we're walking the hands forward. We're inviting our chest to connect with something solid. Now that could be blocks, could be the bolster. It could be your hands, your stacked fists or hands. By finding this connection through the upper body, through the head and chest, we might be able to experience a little bit more release through our lower body. We have about 2 more minutes left in this shape. Just because that is the amount of time that is scheduled for this shape does not mean that we have to remain in it. If the sensations grow to a size that they become uncomfortable, back away. There is nothing holding you here other than yourself. As you are ready, we're going to be walking our hands back towards our hips. We're going to allow our weight to shift into our left hip so that there is space for us to swing our right leg around in front of us. We are moving towards shoelace. So we're stacking the right shin over our left shin. If, like me, the knees and feet do not connect, I invite you to fill in those spaces with blocks or blankets. Maybe you are extending your right leg forward and bringing your left foot to your right knee, creating a figure four. We're going to do a forward fold, so we're inviting the top of our pelvis to roll forward. Maybe the hands are behind us and helping us to lift through our chest. Maybe we find that our spine starts to shift forward. We come towards that forward fold. Perhaps elbows are connecting to your legs. Maybe hands and arms are coming to the floor in front of your legs. And some humans might bring their head to the floor. I am not one of them, but you may be. If you are feeling sensation in your body, then you are doing it. If those sensations do not feel good, back off. We have about 2 more minutes left in this posture. You can use that information to decide if you want to go deeper or to back away. As you're ready, we're going to slowly sit up. We're going to place our feet flat on the floor, hands ground behind us. And again, we're going to let the knees windshield wiper side to side as our counter pose. We have spent the last 45 minutes or so really focusing on hip flexion, forward folds. Past 20 minutes or so, we've added some external rotation in the legs while folding forward. And now we're going to take some time to explore some hip extension in saddle pose. Now, saddle can be very intense for many people, including myself. It'll take me a moment to get set up. We'll be sitting between our feet, essentially. And so I know that the top of my feet might experience quite a bit of pressure in this posture, so I am placing my feet on a blanket. My feet are wide, my knees are drawing together. And again, I know that I need support. So I am placing a bolster between my feet so that when I sit back, I'm sitting on my bolster. Once your feet and hips are comfortable, we're going to then explore taking the pelvis and rolling it back. So we've been doing a lot of anterior tilt. This will be our posterior tilt. So we're going to tuck the tailbone under. And I am bringing my hands to blocks behind me because, as I mentioned, this can be a rather intense posture. Now, some people can lay all the way back on the floor. I'm not one of those people. I might just stay here and just focus on lifting my chest. And for me, my goal might be to try to bring my elbows down to my blocks. I'm going to keep trying to think, sending my knees towards the floor, tucking my pelvis under. I might, if it feels good, allow my head to drop back. If that causes discomfort in the body, I won't do it. Again, if the sensations become too much, we can always back away. Know that this is a very intense posture. So if you are experiencing that intensity, there are many there with you. We have one more minute left in our saddle. You might use that information to decide to go deeper or to start to pull out of the posture. As you're ready, we're going to begin to lift back up through our chest. If we have gone so far back that coming back up feels impossible, you might explore just rolling to one side to release your feet. For our counter posture, we are just going to take our feet under our hips and we're going to hinge forward. You can support your upper body maybe with blocks or a bolster. Maybe you are resting your forehead on the back of your hands or fists. And then as you're ready, we're going to sit up. And we're going to wiggle our legs out in front of us. And we're going to lay our body all the way down onto the floor. Take a moment just to feel the connection of your body to the earth. And then we're going to start to explore some side bends in Banana Asana. So we're going to start just by wiggling our shoulders to the left, so that we're drawing our left shoulder closer towards our left hip. Then we might take our right leg and cross it over the left. We might even scoot the left leg a little bit to the left. We want the right side of our body to be heavy. We want the right hip drop towards the floor, the right shoulder drop towards the floor. Maybe you explore clasping your elbows over your head. Maybe you're extending your right arm, holding onto your right wrist with your left hand. We have a few more minutes in this posture. You might explore changing which one of your legs is crossed on top, just to experience the difference. Walk your shoulders and your legs back towards a neutral position. Draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a squeeze. As you're ready, extend your legs long on your mat. And then we're just going to start to wiggle our shoulders towards the right, drawing our right shoulder towards our right hip. We might shift our right leg towards the right and then explore crossing our left foot over our right. We want our left hip and left shoulder to be heavy. You might be holding on to opposite elbows or opposite hands. You might be extending your left arm and holding onto your left wrist with your right hand. We have a few more minutes here. You might explore changing which leg is on top in your cross. Just noticing how that might affect the sensations in your body. As you're ready, we're going to walk our shoulders and our legs back towards a neutral position. And for our counter pose again, we'll draw our knees into our chest and give ourselves a squeeze. Keep drawing your right knee into your chest, but extend your left leg on the mat. From here, we're going to draw the right leg across our body so that we're stacking our right hip over our left for a reclined twist. I invite you to keep your right shoulder on the ground, which might make your right knee elevated off the floor. And if it's elevated and that feels great, leave it there. Maybe you choose to place some support under the right knee. The right shoulder grounded, you might start to turn your face towards the right. You might explore drawing your right knee more towards your shoulders or more towards your feet to explore maybe how the position of the right leg affects the sensations in your body. If you find that there is a position that feels exceptionally good, you might hang out there. And if there are positions that do not feel good, don't do those. We have a few more minutes left in this posture, just because the time is allotted for the posture doesn't mean that we need to take it. So if your body already wants to come out of the twist, you can come out of the twist. You might use this just as an invitation to shift, to experience a different quality of sensation in the body. And as you're ready, we'll all untwist, returning the back of our hips to the floor. We'll draw our knees into our chest. We're just going to circle our thighs in our thigh sockets. If you've been circling one direction, circle the other direction as well. And as you're ready, we'll extend our right leg and draw our left knee into our chest. As you're ready, we'll guide our left knee across our body, stacking our left hip over our right for a twist. We want our left shoulders to stay on the ground, and doing so might invite your left knee to float in the air. You might provide support to your leg by placing props beneath your knee. With your left shoulder on the ground, you might explore turning your face to the left. Over time, you might explore drawing your left knee closer to your shoulders or sending it down closer towards your feet, investigating how the movement of our left leg might affect the sensations we experience in our body. And if we find a place where these sensations are really good, we might stay there. We have a few more minutes here. If your body already wishes to exit this posture, go ahead. If your body is inviting you to move deeper into the twist, explore with care. As you're ready, you can return the back of your hips to the mat. We're going to take a counter pose again of drawing our knees into our chest and then rotating our thighs within our hip sockets. And as you're ready, we're going to set ourselves up for our final posture, which is Shavasana. You might lie directly on the earth. You might invite a little support for your body by placing a bolster or blocks under your knees. You might choose to change direction that your feet are facing. You might place something over your eyes to invite darkness into your experience. But as you settle into this final form of our practice together, Shavasana, I invite you to allow your muscles to release any grip on your bones. We're taking this moment to allow the effects, the stresses of our practice to work and move through the body, giving the body time to acknowledge and adjust to the work we just did. You might spend a few moments reconnecting with your breath, finding that belly breathing, that diaphragmatic breath. But in time, I invite you to release that conscious control of your breath. And I invite you to release any habit of paying witness to thought patterns in your mind and just rest here in this moment. Vinavaditamastu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavirishavahai Sahana Vavatu Sahana Gunatu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavirvishavahai Mavirvishavahai Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May we be protected together. May we be nourished and grow together. May we be enlightened by our studies together, and may we never quarrel with one another. Peace, peace, peace. Deepen your breath. Draw awareness into your body. Move in any way that feels natural to you. As you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and find your way to the right side of your body. There is no wrong side. With heavy hips, press your hands into the earth to rise. Find an easy seat. Allow your palms to meet in front of your heart. And if you choose to join me, we'll seal our practice together with a unified sounding of Om. If Om is not your jam, you might just hum. And if that doesn't feel right either, you might just receive the sound in your body. We'll take a breath in together. Let it go. Inhale for Om. May all beings be free from fear and free from shame, and may all beings have the opportunities to be who they truly are. I bow to the teacher within you. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. Jai.